Look at all that.
Hey guys, it's Mouse. So today this is a special dive. This is going to be another one of the videos where I talk over and explain some things. So this is a special dive. This is Jamey, the guy that was in the middle of our intro. This is his PADI open water diver certification dive. So he is now a certified diver and he can dive with us now. So this is the video of him this is his final dive to where he gets certified. And so I figured I would just show you guys this video and walk you through some of the things that he has done up to this point to be able to be on this dive. So at this point, the first thing that you'll do day one is they'll put you in a pool. They give you a book so that you can learn the technical side of it. So you learn what different gases do. You learn about the different type of gases they use for the different depths and things like that. But for most of what we'll do, we just use regular air. There are other gases that people use at depths, but we're not doing that. So you learn basically how that interacts with your body and such, and you learn how not to get the bends. So speaking of that, most of getting certified is all about safety and basically how not to kill yourself by doing something stupid. So one of the first things they'll do is they'll put you in a pool and just make sure you can actually tread water. It's a certain amount of time. I think it was like 10 minutes. One thing I want to point out real quick right here, notice how often they're equalizing. Each time you see me take my hand away from that rope, I'm also equalizing, so you see that it's actually done very often, and you'll see the instructor here checking on us, making sure we're good. So each time that you see me take my hand off there, I'm either equalizing, which is where you squeeze your nose and blow so that your ears can equalize to the pressure, or I'm also adding a little bit of air to my BCD so that I don't just drop to the bottom. So we're going down to 60 foot right here, and so you can see this is a good ways down. This is 6 stories underwater, and so you'll notice it gets dark quick. Here in just a minute you'll see how dark it gets, but then we start coming back up and it gets light real quick. So it's not going to be a long part of the video that's actually dark, but we're going down to this depth to certify him for this depth. So we go down to about 60 foot, and you'll see they've turned their lights on. So at this point he has shown confidence. The instructor would never take him this far if he didn't feel that he was comfortable doing it and that he hadn't shown the skills at this point to do this. So this is, this is every bit as much as the instructor showing him that he trusts him to do this as it is him actually being able to do these skills. So at this point he's shown that he knows how to control his buoyancy, so he's not going to rocket to the top because he presses the button too long or anything like that, because at this depth that would be very, very, very dangerous, even life-threatening. He's shown that he's not going to rocket to the bottom either, that he understands how much weight he needs for his body when he's wearing a wetsuit for this water, because freshwater and ocean water is different. So he's learned how to control buoyancy by the weights and where the weights need to be on his body to make him actually be able to dive properly. So he's also got an understanding of the weights. And speaking of weights, he's also shown that he understands his gear setup and his proper check. So he knows what seals to check, he knows how to set his own gear up, how to put his regs and stuff on the tank, and he knows how to check everything like that for added safety. So everything when it comes to scuba diving is pretty much safety. So you dive with a partner, you have an extra regulator, so if something happens, if I run out of air, I can take his regulator, we go to the top together. So it's all safety oriented. So if you're worried about it being dangerous, unless you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, it's not going to be dangerous. If you panic, that's when it becomes dangerous. So at this point he's also shown that he understands dive tables, so he knows how to read a dive table. So if he's down at this depth for this long, he knows if he comes up he shouldn't be diving again for a certain amount of time to allow that nitrogen to come off of you so that you're not getting the bends, so you're not giving yourself the bends pretty much. He knows at this point he can take his regulator out of his mouth, toss it over his shoulder, and he's shown that he knows how to regain control and grab that regulator. Even with his eyes closed, he could be able to drop it and be able to gain it back and get it back into his mouth, instead of just panicking and rocketing to the top or what have you. So you'll notice we go up a lot slower than we've gone down. You never want to beat your bubbles going up. That's a bad thing. So the computers like this, these modern dive computers like I keep looking at, they'll tell you how fast you're ascending to slow down. They'll beep at you if you do it too fast and such. But if you didn't have one of those, you know, just don't ever beat your bubbles. Go at least half the speed they're going up. So at this point, you notice it's starting to get a lot lighter. We can see a lot easier as we come up through this water column. So he's also shown that he knows how to clear his mask. So if his mask fills up with water, he's not panicking, he's not breathing in water or anything like that. He knows how to clear the mask. He knows he's not having trouble at this point with buoyancy or being able to control where he's at. He's not having trouble with a flooded mask or anything like that. You'll see me right here, I dump a lot of air, and the reason I dump a lot of air there is because you saw me starting to lose control of buoyancy and going up, and so I dumped it because I realized I was going past them. I was paying too much attention to everything else that was going on, so you see me dump air just to make sure that I wasn't rocketing to the top. He's also shown that he understands basically how not to get the bends. We talked about that a little bit. He understands that if he takes out his regulator to constantly blow bubbles, and he knows if he goes to the top without air, if he ran out of air for some reason, he wasn't able to get to his buddy, whatever, and he had to go to the top, he knows to blow bubbles and say ah as he goes to the top so that that air can get out of his lungs. So believe it or not, you actually can't fill your lungs. You're filling the tissues around your lungs if you hurt yourself. Like when you go running, it feels like your lungs are hurting, but you can't actually fill your lungs. So you can, if you were to go to the bottom, if I were to fill a balloon up at the top and I were to go to that 60 foot, that balloon would be very, very small compared to the size that it was up top, and that's just because of the pressure. The pressure has actually pressurized that air and made the air smaller. Well, the same thing happens in your lungs. So if you were to take a deep breath when underwater, if I were to fill that balloon and let it go from 60 foot, it would explode by the time it got to the top because that air has still got to expand. So you basically learn that that's what happens to your lungs. So he knows if he took a breath at 60 foot and his air for some reason stopped working on the way up, he knows to say ah the whole time, or he will blow his lungs up pretty much. That's basically what happens. You overexpand your lungs and tear them and get an embolism. So with all that being said, he's shown confidence, he's shown that he knows how to dive, he's shown that he's not going to kill himself pretty much. So at this point, we're just enjoying the dive. We're just going around, hanging out, having fun. And I just figured I'd go ahead and put the rest of this in here so you guys can enjoy it. See, you see he keeps asking him, hand and arm signals, he's asking him how much air he has. He's showing him that at this point he's learned to control how much air he actually consumes. So he's not, when he first started swimming, he consumed a lot more air. And now he consumes a little bit less. And as he dives, the more dives he gets under his belt, the less air he'll actually consume. The anxiety kind of goes away. You see me graffitiing the place here. That anxiety goes away, and you calm down a lot more as you're underwater, and you're just a lot more relaxed. And so your tank lasts you a lot longer. Your tank lasts you less the deeper you go. So if at 60 foot, that tank wouldn't last us nearly as long as at, say, 20 or 30 foot. But the more calm you are, the longer that tank is going to last you. And so you'll notice if you saw some of the earlier videos of him, you would see that he is conserving his air a little bit better. And right now this is dive 70 or 71 for me. I'd have to look, but I've done a lot of dives already, and I didn't get certified but last year. And so I've done a lot of dives, and I'm able to control a lot better now how much air that I take in. So I'm going to let you guys watch the rest of this video. If you're interested, I'm just going to put some music to it and let you enjoy the sights and check out the Kraken. That's where we are. This is in White, Georgia, and it's called Kraken Springs. It's owned by Dive Georgia, and it's a really great training area. It's a really cool place to dive. They've got a lot of neat things down there. They've got cars that sunk down there, boats that sunk down there, all kinds of neat stuff. So alright guys, enjoy the video. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.